So as we scroll down further into the lab syllabus, a few sections here, lab group formation. As we said, we'll put you in a lab group to start off the semester, and then after you complete a lab experiment, you'll potentially be moved to a different lab group with other students that are working at the same pace with you and who are ready to tackle the same lab at the same time as you. You can work with students in lab at the same day or on different days and discuss your data and work through the Discord app. So we'll talk here in a minute about what you need to do in terms of your responsibilities in the lab and with the lab experience, but just be ready for your lab group to change throughout the semester to make sure you're working with students who are working at the same pace as you through the course. So, as we said, there are 3 open lab times that occur throughout the week. You should definitely attend at least one of those a week. Obviously, if you have some emergency come up, or if you have COVID, you might have to wait and take a week off, but that's okay. You can attend up to all 3 sections if you want to work quickly through the course. And that is definitely advisable if you have the time to do it. If you are going to come into a given open lab session, make sure you arrive at least an hour before the end of the session. You can also come in to ask questions and work with the tutors on practice questions or concepts from the lecture part of the course. In addition to lab, for whatever reason you're coming into the open lab, you want to at least give us an hour to help you with whatever question that you have if possible. And a lot of the lab experiments take a significant amount of time. So if you come in with less than an hour and expect to do lab experiments, you might not have time. And it's not really fair to ask the tutors to stay later than the 3 hours that they get paid for. So try to be respectful there and show up early enough to get things done when you show up to any of the open lab sessions. All right, so there are really 3 main things that you need to do to contribute to the lab experience and to earn points in lab. And those 3 are here in these bullet points, but they're really outlined a little bit more detail down here. So since you are in a lab group and it is a group experience, you will have to be interacting with your lab group members, right? So when I put you in a lab group on Discord, as we said, on the Discord app, there are these channels here. You'll only see one of these because you'll only be in one lab group initially. So whatever lab group you're in, you'll click that channel, and then you can type messages to the other people in your lab group here and communicate that way. So there's going to be a lot of virtual communication between you and your lab group. You can use this channel to chat with the other members of your lab group about the lab handouts and start designing the lab experiments and talking about the lab experiments. And I'll be able to see your conversation so I can interject and help point you in the right direction and give you helpful hints and feedback on any ideas you have to refine your plans. That's really an effective way to come up with a lab plan so that when you're actually in lab in person, you'll be able to quickly work through your plan and get the lab data in a very efficient and effective way. So planning the experiment is a big part of the lab experience, and you have to be active in planning, carrying out the labs, and also writing the lab reports to get full credit. Right? So at the end of this experience, the points you earn are going to come from your lab report that you write, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But to get to that point, you have to be involved in planning the lab, you have to be attending the open lab sessions and carrying out experiments, and then you'll collaborate with the others in your group to get all that data together, discuss it, figure out what it means, and write a lab report. Right? So when you're actually in the lab, myself and the tutors will be there to help you with any questions you have, help to suggest ways to carry out experiments. So during the planning in the Discord chat, you might say, oh, I want to do a density, I want to measure density, or I want to measure the melting point. So we'll help you with the details. We'll help you set that up, right? So we don't want you to just kind of come in blindly and just start working on something if you have no idea how to do it. We want you to be able to play a little bit with ideas and be creative. And if you have an idea for an experiment, we want you to have the opportunity to try that out, but we want to do it and make sure we do it in a safe way and in an efficient way so you can get the lab data you need without too much trouble. So once your group has run some experiments and collected data, you'll want to create a Google document. You want to make sure you share that with my Gmail address, as well as our supplementary instructor Deanna's Gmail address, so that we'll be able to look at your lab report in your Google document and give you help with that as well. So we'll talk about the lab reports here in another video.